Hello kids! Today we are going to listen to the stories of Hitopadesha. Yes, these are small stories, but they are full of good values and morals. So let's listen to these good stories. The Crows Challenge. Two crows challenged each other for a flying competition to see which of them could fly highest while carrying a sack of even size. The first crow flew with his sack of cotton, laughing at the other crow, who was carrying a sack of salt which was much heavier. However, when it began to rain, and it was expected, the salt carried by the second crow dissolved, whereas the cotton absorbed the rainwater and became so heavy that the first crow, far from being able to compete with the other crow, came fluttering down. It had to accept defeat. The Roaring Donkey. A donkey dressed himself up as a lion and went around terrorizing other animals of the forest. Most of the animals were afraid of him and paid him obeisance. Some time later, the donkey met a fox. He roared in a most terrifying manner, but it had no effect upon the fox. Instead, the fox laughed heartily and said, "I knew your true identity much before you roared. That is why I saw no reason to be scared of you." The donkey lowered his head in shame and went away. So, again, it's the same moral that we should not try to show off which we are not. We should not try to be like someone which we are not. And about the moral of this story, the Crow's Challenge, we should always think before doing something. Like the smart crow who won the competition, he thought smartly and he carried salt which was dissolved in water, but the other crow who was not as much smarter than that crow, he lost the competition just because he didn't think smartly before the competition. Woodcutter and Water Fairy. A woodcutter was cutting wood from a tree near the bank of river. Suddenly, the axe slipped from the hands of Woodcutter and fell down into the fast current of the river. Woodcutter searched the axe in the river, but he could not find it. Cursing his luck, the woodcutter dejectedly sat near the bank of river. Suddenly, a water fairy appeared in the river. "Why are you worried?" Water fairy asked in soft voice. "My axe has fallen in the river. I don't have another axe," Woodcutter said in a sad voice. Water Fairy assured him that she would get the axe and disappeared. "Is this golden axe yours?" Water Fairy asked after resurfacing. "No, this is not mine," honest Woodcutter refused promptly. Water Fairy again disappeared in the water and this time came out with silver eggs, but the woodcutter refused again. Impressed by the honesty of Woodcutter, Water Fairy gifted him both the axes with his iron axe. See, you must have heard that honesty is the best policy. As the woodcutter was so honest that the fairy was very impressed with him and she gave him the golden as well as the silver eggs. So that means if we work honestly, we always get good results. The farmer and his ass. Ass means donkey. Once an Arabian farmer's ass was stolen. He immediately grabbed a stick and started threatening the town people. "You cowards and thieves! Do you think I am a fool? Give me back my ass, or else I will do what my father has done." The thief who had stolen the ass was terrified to hear the farmer's warning. He was frightened out of his wits. He came and meekly surrendered the stolen animal. While handing over, he asked the farmer, "Sir, please tell me what your father had done when his ass was stolen." "He bought another ass," was the farmer's reply. So, the farmer was so smart to talk so smartly that the thief got scared just by his words and returned back his ass. Wow, what a smart man. Who will bell the cat? Ooh, by mistake the spelling has been written wrong here. Who will bell the cat? No, no. Who will bell the cat? There were many mice living in a godown. They lived happily and ate grains. But for the fear of a cat who was a regular visitor to the godown, they were passing their days in danger of getting eaten. Whenever the cat came, the mice ran helter and skelter in panic to hide. But still the cat was able to eat at least 2 or 3 mice in a raid. The cat had become a real big trouble for the mice. So one day they called a meeting to find a solution of the problem. So all the cats are having a meeting. Many suggestions were given only to be disapproved by the others. One mouse said, "We should close the gate of Godown permanently so that the cat would not come." The other mouse said, "It is impossible. We don't own the Godown. I think we should have an alarm bell to warn us of the arrival of the cat." An idea struck the mind of another mouse. He said, "A bell should be tied to the neck of the cat. It will jingle every time the cat moves to alert us." Everyone approved the idea and all the mice began to dance happily. But an old mouse was not amused. It stood up and said, "The idea is very good, but tell me, who will bell the cat?" All the mice fell silent. One mouse said, "The one who has given the suggestion should tie the bell." While the bell was given to the mouse, a stampede started. The cat had entered the godown. All the mice ran to their holes, but the mouse with the bell fell into the claws of the cat. Oh no. Poor mouse. So they thought of a smart idea, but as they could not do it, their idea failed. The Witch and the Children. 2 children were playing in a field when a cruel witch kidnapped them. One day, the children succeeded in making good their escape from the clutches of the witch, but the witch again went after them to get them back. When the children were running back home, a gentle fairy helped them by setting a great ring of fire around them to keep them safe from the witch. But the witch doused the flames by blowing it out. Seeing this, the gentle fairy again came to their rescue and erected a high glass wall around them. The witch rushed to her home to fetch a hammer to break the glass wall. But by the time she returned with the hammer, the gentle fairy had taken the children away to their home safely. So, the gentle fairy thought wisely, and that's why she could help the two kids. The Trap of the Fox. When it was time to elect their new king, the animals elected the monkey to this all-powerful position because of his antics. The fox was very much disappointed and waited for a chance. One day, the fox found a delicious fruit lying in its way. She was quick to understand that it was a trap. She went to the Monkey King and told him about the place where fruit was lying. The greedy Monkey King hastily reached the spot and picked up the fruit, but was trapped in the net. The fox laughed and said, "Your antics may amuse the animals. Better sit on the trees only and not on the throne." So the fox made him fool very easily just because of the nature of that monkey. The milkmaid's dream. A milkmaid was carrying the pot of milk on her head to sell it. Milkmaid was thinking that she would fetch a lot of money by selling milk. She would purchase eggs from that money. From them a lot of chickens would come out. Chickens will turn into hens after growing up. She will have a big poultry business. After becoming rich, she would purchase a palatial house. She will have car and servants, and she will become beautiful like a princess. Many charming princes would come to her with proposals of marriage, but she would refuse them by shaking her head. The milkmaid was dreaming when she actually shook her head and the pot fell on the ground. Milkmaid held her head with both her hands at seeing the broken pot. So, the moral of the story is we should not be daydreaming while doing a very important work. Cleverness of the fox. A fisherman, after spending a day at the river, caught a basket full of fish. While he was returning home in his cart, a fox saw him and thought of a trick to have a delicious dinner. She lay in the middle of the road and pretended to be dead. The fisherman saw Fox lying still on the road. He picked up the fox and was happy that he will have a beautiful fox fur. He put the dead fox on the back of his cart and resumed his journey. While the cart was moving, the fox ate away all the fishes of the basket and slipped away silently. That day, the fisherman lost all his catch. So, the fisherman should have thought carefully and looked at the fox carefully before putting him in the cart. So, the moral is we should think smartly before doing something or before taking a decision. And the last story is The Wise Cat and the Wiser Mouse. It was the warehouse where the mice lived. One day a black cat wandered into it. "What a good place for me to live in and feed on mice. I will pretend to be dead," thought the cat to himself, and lay down on the ground. The younger mice surrounded him and began to shout, "Look, here is a dead black cat." But an old mouse cautioned them, "Be careful, a cat has 9 lives." Then the old mouse climbed over an attic where a sack of flour was kept. It was just above where the cat lay. The mouse cut open sack and the flour poured over the cat. Then there came a sneeze, and a white cat came out of the floor and ran away. So the mouse took smart decision, and that's why he was able to know the reality of the cat. I hope you enjoyed the Hitopadesha stories today. That's all for today. Take care. Bye bye.